Hey everyone, and welcome back to Martial Arts in the Life. So today's Thursday, and so today's going to be our first segment of Thursday's Thoughts. And I wanted to put out one of these videos every week, just different broad topic, highly opinionated based on my own experiences and what I've seen in the martial arts. And so today I wanted to approach what is a black belt exactly, and what is the difference between somebody just starting out and somebody who's worked their way to that level, to that coaching instructor level. And one of the biggest things I wanted to touch on is the difference between knowing a technique and understanding a technique. So you start off day one and you get your gi on, you're standing there in some deep horse stance and your legs are hurting and you're punching repeatedly. So by the next session, you're like, oh, I know how to throw a punch. But do you understand that punch? Do you understand what they're teaching you? And as you spend more time in the martial arts, your understanding of things change. Um, Anybody can know how to move their body. There's all kinds of different things we do, from martial arts, dance, other kinds of sports like football, soccer, basketball. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to move your body, but do you understand the motions you're making? Can you apply them in different ways? Can you link those movements together? And that's kind of when you get into understanding a technique is, okay, so now I've done this technique and I've done it 1,000 times, but how do I use it? How do I make it work against an opponent who's fighting back, who's not making it easy on me? And that's where you really have to kind of strive to escalate your knowledge level in the martial arts. And there's everything from small nuances of knowing where to apply pressure, how to have your hands placed, to proper stepping methods to be able to execute the techniques properly. And all of it is very, very important to understanding a technique. And this is where, as instructors, coaches, black belts, you know, understanding a technique is key. Because when I'm working with a student, I'm not just saying, here, I'm going to teach you how to do this technique. It's, here, I'm going to impart knowledge onto you that you're one day going to have to use. Whether it's in a competition, a self-defense situation, or even just sparring in the gym itself, it does you no good to know the technique if you don't understand how to apply it. And as coaches and instructors, that's a huge responsibility to impart that knowledge to your students. And that brings me to my next point. If a black belt is an instructor, is somebody who is tasked with teaching others techniques that they could use, up to and including a life-threatening situation, they shouldn't be 12 years old. That, plain and simple. I don't know any kid, and I have kids myself. I don't know any kid from my oldest who's 10 to my nephew who's 14 who has the maturity to understand the implications of teaching a martial art or a self-defense system of any kind. So I'm highly against kid black belts. I think that there should be a minimum age for black belt. I think that that 18-year-old range is typically pretty good. And the reason I make a point of this is I see a lot of schools, a lot of traditional schools especially, that have these black belt divisions for kids, and it's like, oh hey, this is my first day and I'm being taught by a kid half my size who is telling me to throw a punch but has no idea what to do with it. So for me, I find that to be, a key part of being a black belt is having the moral implications of what you're doing and understanding those moral implications. And then lastly, I really wanted to get into, it's important to never stop learning. I've worked with instructors, I've seen instructors that seem like they've gotten to that point where they know everything, or they think they know everything. My 10 years in the martial arts, there's not been an instructor that I have not learned something different from, that has not changed my game in minuscule ways, that hasn't made me a better martial artist. I'm a second degree black belt. I've taught independently my own program for 2 years. I've coached at one of the top MMA schools in the state. And I can say right now, I don't care if you have 5, 10, 50 years in the martial arts, you do not know everything. You are not perfect everywhere. You still need to practice. You still need to put in the work. You still need to keep an open mind and never stop learning. The moment you stagnate is the moment you die as a martial artist. And the day you quit being effective for others. So those are some of my thoughts on the legitimacy of black belts and, what it takes to be a black belt. Remember, before you go into a school, do your research. Make sure that you know who you're learning from. Make sure that they have a good reputation in the martial arts community. Make sure that they know what they're talking about. There's a lot of charlatans out there. There's a lot of people running belt factories. Get your money's worth and learn something that'll save your life. And with that, don't forget to subscribe, share, like this video, drop comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And we'll see you next time.